co-founder, he's tried it multiple times with the buying domains and warming up inboxes and all that stuff in the past. So he knows, I mean, he's worked with tons of different vendors and agencies over the last 10 years of growing the business.
Yeah.
And so he knows more than anybody. Like if you guys are the shop to work with after he's kind of seen it all, like I trust his endorsement there. And honestly, having tried to do it myself a few times as well, I understand the pain of having it not work or being sold a bill of goods that ends up not being really what's delivered. So I would happily recommend you guys.
Yeah, appreciate you
Cool.
taking this time to do a short video testimonial, Zach. Zach is the growth marketing manager at BuddyPunch. So to kick things off, do you mind giving us a quick intro to you and kind of what you guys do?
So BuddyPunch is the leading time clock and payroll app for full contact jobs, such as construction, field service, healthcare, those type of things. Like oftentimes you might call it like the deskless worker or the remote workforce. So we make it easy to track time, to pay your workers, to schedule shifts, all in one platform that's hopefully pretty easy to use and gets rid of that time theft problem that a lot of field service companies have to deal with. So that's what BuddyPunch is. Personally, I've been in growth marketing and product marketing and some form of advertising my whole career, so about 15 years. And working with you guys, it's been great to just have another tool set and another strategic approach to just getting in front of the right kinds of people at scale. Because with everything we do, we want to be able to do one to many and not just one to one, enterprise type stuff. So yeah, it's been great to work with you on just scalable strategies in terms of outbound and getting in front of more customers.
Awesome. Yeah. You briefly mentioned kind of the struggles behind doing scaled cold outreach. Could you dive a little bit deeper into that? I'm super curious because you've had that experience at multiple other companies, right?
Yeah, a couple of startups that I've been the first marketing hire, obviously you got to clone yourself with a lot of tactics. So being a marketing army of one, you got to figure out, all right, how do I do one to many? And how do I do PLG with just me? There was another company I was working with that was a collaboration and annotation platform for web design agencies, things like that. And we were doing a scaled outbound program there where I was sort of DIYing it. I was buying all the domains and warming up all the inboxes and setting up the aliases and using, I don't even know, QuickMail.io or various different tools and having to check on all the different things that you need to do to make sure you don't hurt your own website reputation in the process or get shut down by the internet gods was just like a whole learning process. And of course, after 2 to 4 weeks, things break anyway and you get diminishing returns and then you got to do it all over again with new inboxes or new domains or whatever. And it was a whole cumbersome process. It was like,
Right.
I don't even know if I ever nailed doing it longer than a few weeks because you always just get that deliverability issue or that diminishing returns. It's just either not getting good open rates or not inboxing anymore after like a few weeks. So it always sort of ramped down when we really want to ramp up. So I did that with it was a company called Punch List, not to be confused with BuddyPunch, and we were trying to do it ourselves and purchase the domains through different servers so that it doesn't have any association with our current domain. Just the whole process. I mean, you guys know how it all goes. Never quite got it to work.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a similar story we hear from a lot of people, like in terms of diminishing returns. Usually it starts out okay, pretty well, but then over time it just takes a huge dip. For context, I think you guys have been working with Wesley around 3 months now. Could you kind of describe that experience working with him, what it's like to work with him in general?
Yeah, Wesley's been great to work with. We have our Monday check-in, very actionable, just thoughtful updates. Like if I say, hey, what do you think about this new copy angle or changing this message? Like you always have a pretty thoughtful reply with when it comes to sales psychology and like really what we need to do there and not just saying yes or no. So I appreciate that. Great working with Wesley every week.
Awesome. That's amazing to hear. I'm curious in terms of the business impact for BuddyPunch, where do you think the company's getting the most value?
Probably the three things that are most valuable in working with you guys is the dialed in infrastructure that just works, the collaboration in terms of just constant communication and across follow-ups. Because when it comes to outbound and the goal of that, getting a demo booked and all of these messages are coming from our CEO, it's important to be timely about our follow-ups and thoughtful about any kind of product knowledge that we need to share. So the communication is great. And then three, I think, copywriting and sales psychology I would put together, understanding what we need to do psychologically to get cut through, whether that's short and sweet emails, pain setup. I know you've mentioned different tactics that you bake into the email copy, which is pretty, I always like that kind of stuff.
Let's say there's someone watching this video in a few weeks or maybe like months later, and maybe they're kind of on the fence about working with us. What would you kind of say to that person, and how likely are you to recommend this?
I would enthusiastically recommend working with you guys. It's something that every marketer, every product-led founder tries to set up themselves at some point, like emailing lots of people from the CEO, from the founders, and nobody can quite get it to work. I mean, Eric, our CEO and co-founder, he's tried tried it multiple times with the buying domains and warming up inboxes and all that stuff in the past. So he knows, I mean, he's worked with tons of different vendors and agencies over the last 10 years of growing the business.
Yeah.
And so he knows more than anybody. Like if you guys are the shop to work with after he's kind of seen it all, like I trust his endorsement there. And honestly, having tried to do it myself a few times as well, I understand the pain of having it not work or being sold a bill of goods that ends up not being really what's delivered. So I would happily recommend you guys work with a number of startups or brands that are looking to do this kind of strategy.